Summer is in full effect, the heat is on, and maybe all of a sudden your skin is breaking out. Your forehead, your chest, your back. Maybe you don't even normally have acne and you're like, what the heck is going on? Why is my skin freaking out? Perhaps this is the first time this has happened to you, or maybe it's an annual recurrence, annoying, stubborn breakouts. In today's video, we're going to talk about what actually causes these. We're going to bust some myths and misconceptions, and I'm going to be giving you some practical tips and tricks for how to address this, prevent it, and help it to go away. Acne is a common skin condition where you have an abnormal turnover of cells lining the pore coupled with an increase in oil production into the pore, plus that little bacteria, Cutibacterium acnes. It's driven by genetics and hormones which signal to the oil gland to make more oil. It's an inflammatory skin condition, and if left untreated, it can go on to leave scars behind. However, what we're talking about today, mic drop, is not usually actually acne. Yes, acne can, of course, worsen in the summer months, but specifically what we're talking about today is one of those acne mimickers. Looks like acne, is easily mistaken for acne, but is not acne. What is it? In many cases, it's actually heat rash, miliaria. Miliaria is much different from acne. In contrast to acne, miliaria has nothing to do with your sebaceous oil gland. Miliaria has nothing to do with your hormones. Miliaria has nothing to do with the cells lining your pore getting stuck together. Well, what the heck causes miliaria? Miliaria is caused by blockage of the eccrine sweat glands. The eccrine sweat glands produce sweat to cool the body. They're an entirely separate gland from the follicle, from the pore, from the sebaceous oil gland. They don't produce oil, they produce eccrine sweat to cool the body. When the sweat is produced, it evaporates off the surface of the skin and cools your body. However, what can happen is that little eccrine sweat gland can get blocked up. This is especially common in hot, humid, tropical conditions, and no surprise, it tends to be aggravated in the summer months when it is boiling hot and people are sweating. Miliaria takes on the appearance of oftentimes little red bumps that are very itchy. Miliaria can also lead to the formation of little bumps that are filled with pus, but in contrast to acne, you don't have pore clogging. You don't have clogging of the pores with cells that are not turning over properly. And because of this, you know what else you don't have? You don't have blackheads, you don't have whiteheads. Those are known as open and closed comedones, part of acne. Miliaria, there are no comedones. While miliaria, aka heat rash, is not pleasant to deal with, here is the bright side. In contrast to acne, miliaria not only can clear up when you address some of the underlying triggers, but it does not go on to scar. Woohoo! The problem with miliaria, however, is that, well, it's itchy, it's uncomfortable. But when the sweat glands are plugged up, that starts to cause a problem in that you're no longer able to respond to heat as well by producing sweat to release onto the surface of the skin to evaporate to keep you cool because, well, your sweat glands are plugged up. Depending on how extensive of a surface area you are dealing with in terms of the miliaria breakout. Maybe if it's just on your forehead, this is not really a pressing issue, but if we're talking about all over your back, all over your chest, that's a pretty large surface area, and you start to run into issues where you have to be really careful with heat exposure, not only because you're not able to cool yourself well, but because continued heat, sweat, humidity, well, at least your body trying to, well, produce more sweat as it naturally does, but it can't get it out, and that leads to more sweat gland plugging, inflammation, and worsening of the heat rash. At this point, it should be clear, miliaria is not acne. For this reason, the acne treatments that you buy over the counter, like benzoyl peroxide, adapalene, salicylic acid, sulfur, these not only are not going to help this, they can actually worsen it. When you have miliaria, heat rash, the skin is hyper irritable. It's more inclined to irritation, especially from topicals that you put on that at baseline are known to be somewhat drying and irritating. So obviously this is more of an issue in hot climates. Hot, humid, tropical climates especially. More of a problem in the summer months. But what are some of the things surrounding miliaria development that you can control in addition to keeping yourself cool, like trying to move indoors, stand in front of a fan, stay in the AC? Another big exacerbating factor for miliaria is actually occlusion. Tight-fitting clothing, for example, blocks the sweat glands and makes you more inclined to miliaria. So you want to stick to loose, breathable fabric. When it comes to the forehead, perhaps where your hat hits might be causing some irritation, blocking the sweat glands and leading to these little breakouts. There's a trend on social media called the morning shed. Let me know if you have seen this. It's ridiculous. I think a while ago I even reacted to one of these TikToks as a YouTube short. Basically, it involves like going to bed with all of these different face patches on. I have videos on silicone face patches. They're not all smoke and mirrors. They definitely can help improve the appearance of wrinkles by improving moisture retention in the skin, but they also could be the contributing factor for miliaria, especially in hot, humid tropical climates. And as with anything on social media, the morning shed routine is taking something cool like a little silicone face patch, going overboard. People are taping their entire faces. They have these elaborate chin straps. They've got their hair in the satin bonnet, which is great for cutting down on breakage and frizz and everything. I'm not knocking that. But if you're covering your head, you're covering all of your face with all of these patches, covering your eyes with an eye mask, you're going to get overheated to some extent as you sleep, and your body is going to try and produce some sweat to cool you. It's not going to be able to get out on the surface of the skin effectively. It's going to block those sweat glands. Not only because it's hot in the summer months, but a lot of people deal with night sweats as they go through menopause. If you're all wrapped up like a mummy, yeah, heat rash, heat rash, heat rash. Speaking of wrapped up like a mummy, little babies are very inclined to miliaria, to heat rash, if they are swaddled, as people often do with newborns. But their little sweat glands are immature and still developing, and sometimes, especially in hot conditions, that can lead to miliaria in little babies. This is not the first video I have done on miliaria or heat rash, but I wanted to put this video out today to put it into context for you guys, because I think a lot of people end up confusing their breakouts with acne when in reality it might actually be a miliaria heat rash, which brings me to my next point. In addition to the over-the-top morning shed routine with all of the silicone face patches, think about your skincare routine. As much as I love petroleum jelly, Vaseline, thick, rich creams, in some cases that might be slowing down the evaporation of sweat and perhaps being a contributing factor for you in the development of miliaria. And I often suspect this when people say, oh, I used that moisturizer and the next morning I woke up and my face was broken out. In those cases, honestly, probably not acne, or it may be acne, but if it is acne, it's not acne that was caused by the cream, because the timeline is not quite there for acne. But it is more consistent with perhaps triggering miliaria if that product was too occlusive for you, didn't allow for good evaporation of sweat, you got a little too warm at night, and you woke up with a little heat rash. For the most part, it shouldn't be a problem if you stick to a basic skincare routine, cleanser that's mild, moisturizer at night, and a moisturizing sunscreen during the day. But as you can imagine, if you start dabbling in multi-step routines, you can end up in a scenario where you are just layering way too many things, and it's actually just causing a lot of issues with good evaporation of sweat as you sleep at night. There's this other trend on social media because, again, maximalism is the name of the game. It's called the skin flooding, where they sequentially layer numerous hydrating toners, lightweight lotions, followed by more occlusive rich creams, and then of course the final step, the slugging step of putting an ointment all over your face. Yeah, if you live somewhere hot, humid, you don't have central air conditioning, you might just wake up with heat rash from all of those products. So stick to a really simple skincare routine of sunscreen, moisturizer, cleanser. Moisturizer at night, and then the sunscreen during the day is a moisturizer as well, and then a mild cleanser to properly wash your face. Here's another thing though, sunscreens for some people I think also trigger miliaria, especially really thick sunscreens that may be water resistant, so they're really forming a nice barrier that might slow down evaporation of sweat. A lot of zinc oxide mineral sunscreens in particular can be very oppressive because they're sort of thick and pasty, and I do think that a lot of these end up triggering miliaria for people because they just don't allow for good evaporation of sweat. If you notice though, a lot of sunscreens that are chemical sunscreens, they are a lot more fast drying, less greasy, less thick, less chalky in comparison to mineral sunscreens. But you can run into chemical sunscreens that are very oily and oppressive as well. So a tip I suggest when it comes to choosing a sunscreen that is lightweight, allows for really good evaporation of sweat, especially if you're somebody who does sports outside in the heat. This is really important. Look for a sunscreen gel or a sunscreen in general that has alcohol in it. Alcohol alcohol, people are afraid of in sunscreens, but it's great. Promise, it's great. Not only does it help with the sunscreen ingredient stability and overall formulation, but it creates a product that is quick dry and allows for really good evaporation of sweat. And as you know, if you are enjoying time outdoors, participating in sport, especially getting really sweaty, you need to be reapplying sunscreen pretty frequently to properly protect your skin with sunscreen. Unfortunately, if you're using a sunscreen that is very thick, very rich, not only is that unpleasant, but it may be contributing to the sweat rashes. The sunscreen gels are a lot easier to reapply when you are hot and sweaty, and because they have alcohol in them, they kind of facilitate evaporation of sweat and cooling of the skin. Because heat rash can be very itchy, I suggest leaning into cool compresses. Also take cool showers, and if you have a tub that you can soak in, colloidal oatmeal can be particularly helpful for heat rash on the body. Now, if you're dealing with it on the face, you might even try getting some colloidal oatmeal. You dissolve it in water. You might try soaking a washcloth or some gauze and doing some compresses with the colloidal oatmeal. Now, if you did watch some of my videos on heat rash, I did bring up some drying lotions like calamine lotion, and that certainly can help cool the skin. But if we're talking about the face, the forehead, it can end up being drying and irritating in those situations. But like I said, one of the good things about heat rash in contrast to acne is you don't have to worry about it going on to scar, but you do want to take steps to address it because it can impair sweat production and the proper cooling of your body in hot conditions. And also it can be very uncomfortable, and it tends to get worse if you continue to repeat the same behaviors and practices that aggravated it in the first place. Also, I want to drive home the point. I see this repeated a lot actually in many articles online, like beauty magazines and things of that sort, about summer breakouts. I will see the myth perpetuated that in the heat and the humidity, it causes the oil gland to produce more oil, more sebum. And that's not true. Oil production is due to hormonal influences. It's not a temperature sensitive gland. And so that's a myth. It's the same kind of myth that you often will see in the winter time when the humidity drops and then the air becomes very dry and the skin is more inclined to lose water because of that and become dry. People end up also dealing with acne breakouts, and someone might say, oh yeah, when the skin is dry, it tries to make more oil to overcompensate. And that's not true either. The sebaceous oil gland is not sensing things like that. It responds to hormonal influences like insulin, like growth factor. So diet can influence that, and your genetics and background hormonal health, if you will. Yeah, it does not respond to heat, humidity, the environment in that way. All right, y'all, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope this video was informative and shedding light on the fact that not all breakouts are actually acne, and understanding potential causes of your breakouts besides acne, I think can really help you to make better decisions that will help your skin in the long run. Speaking of skin conditions that look like acne but are not it, on the Insulate, I'm going to put another video of mine where I go over a lot more acne mimickers that might actually be also at play in whatever it is you are dealing with. So I hope you check that one out next if you are so inclined to learn more about breakouts on the skin. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye!